If you're over 60, the way you walk could be slowly damaging your heart, and you may not even know it. Yes, walking. The very thing you've been told is safe, gentle, and good for your health. But what if I told you that the way most seniors walk, the time, the shoes, the posture, even the breathing, may be silently straining your heart day after day? As a heart doctor, I've seen it too many times. Older adults come into my clinic feeling tired, dizzy, or off balance. No chest pain, no warning signs. But inside, their heart is waving a red flag. And in so many of these cases, it wasn't because they were sedentary. It wasn't their diet. It was the way they were walking. Small mistakes that added up to serious cardiovascular stress. I'm not here to scare you. I'm here to protect you. In this video, I'm begging you to stop 9 common walking habits that could be weakening your heart. And more importantly, I'll show you exactly how to walk the right way to protect your body, your balance, and your life. Let's begin. Your heart deserves it. Before we dive in, if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you hit that button and turn on the bell so you never miss another health tip made just for you. If you enjoy this video, type 1 in the comments. If not, type 0 to let me know how I can make better content for you. 1. Walking too fast like you're still 40. At first glance, walking quickly might seem like a good thing. After all, isn't moving faster supposed to be healthier? Many older adults, especially those who were once active runners, hikers, or brisk walkers, carry the belief that pushing yourself is a badge of honor, a way to prove you're still strong. But what if I told you that walking too fast, like you're still 40, can actually destroy your heart, step by silent step? The truth is, after age 60, your heart isn't what it used to be. And that's not a weakness, it's biology. With age, your heart muscle becomes less elastic. The arteries stiffen. The body's ability to regulate blood pressure and oxygen delivery slows. What used to be a brisk walk in your 40s could now be pushing your heart dangerously close to its limit without you realizing it. I've seen it far too many times in my clinic. Seniors come in proud of their 10,000 steps a day, telling me they power walk every morning around the neighborhood. They feel accomplished until I put a stethoscope to their chest or check their blood pressure. Elevated readings, irregular rhythms, subtle but dangerous signs that their heart is working too hard. They're shocked. But I thought walking was good for me, they say. And yes, it is, but only when done with wisdom, not ego. Let me tell you about Mr. Thompson, a 72-year-old retired Navy veteran. Strong-willed, proud. He walked every morning at 7 a.m., fast and determined. He thought he was doing everything right, but he started feeling lightheaded after his walks. He ignored it, until one morning he collapsed on the sidewalk just 3 houses down from his own front door. He was rushed in. His heart? Atrial fibrillation and severe hypertension. The cause? Chronic overexertion from his healthy walks. No prior heart disease. No smoking. No poor diet. Just too fast, too often, for a heart that couldn't keep up anymore. What happens when you walk too fast at this age is simple but devastating. Your heart is forced into overdrive. It pumps harder, faster, struggling to keep your oxygen and blood flow stable. If your arteries are stiff or partially blocked, as is common with aging, this effort increases blood pressure sharply. You may not feel pain, but the damage is cumulative. Over weeks and months, the heart enlarges, weakens, and its electrical system falters. All from walking too fast. All from trying to keep up with a version of yourself that no longer exists. And here's the frightening part. The damage is silent. You may feel a bit more tired, maybe a little short of breath, but you shrug it off as just getting older. But inside, your heart is being taxed beyond its safety limits. It's waving a white flag, and too many seniors don't see it until it's too late. You don't need to race. You don't need to prove anything. Walking isn't a competition, it's a gift, one that should nourish your heart, not punish it. The safest and most effective pace for seniors is a calm, steady rhythm that allows you to breathe comfortably and hold a conversation. If you're gasping for air, you're going too fast. If your legs are straining, you're walking against your body, not with it. Remember this: slowness is not a weakness, it is wisdom in motion. Slowing down allows your heart to pump in peace. It allows your joints to move without strain. It allows you to finish your walk strong, not depleted. Aging is not about stopping, it's about choosing your pace so you can keep going farther, longer, and safer. Mr. Thompson learned this the hard way. After recovery, he still walks every morning, but now it's with mindfulness. He listens to his breath. He greets his neighbors. He says his heart feels stronger than ever. I'm finally walking with myself, he told me once, not against myself. So if you're still walking like you're 40, I'm begging you, stop. You're not 40. And that's okay. You've earned the right to go at your own pace, the one that protects your heart and honors the decades it's worked for you. But even if you're walking at the right pace, there's another silent habit that could be undermining your heart with every step. It has nothing to do with speed and everything to do with when you choose to walk. And for many seniors, this seemingly innocent timing may be the exact thing that's keeping their heart from ever fully recovering. If you're still watching and finding these insights helpful, please comment number 1 below to let me know you're with me. Now let's move on to point number 2. 2. Walking right after meals. For many older adults, a short walk after a meal seems like the perfect way to help digestion or burn off calories. It feels responsible, even comforting, like a habit you've seen in health magazines or heard from friends. But if you're over 60, walking right after eating may actually be silently damaging your heart, and the effects aren't just mild discomfort, they can be life altering. After a meal, especially one with a moderate or large portion, your body shifts into digestion mode. Blood is redirected towards your stomach and intestines to help break down food. It's a beautiful, coordinated process, but it comes at a cost. The rest of your body, including your muscles and yes, your heart, temporarily receives less blood and oxygen. Now imagine deciding to walk briskly just 5 or 10 minutes after you finish eating. Your muscles suddenly demand blood flow. Your heart, already managing the work of digestion, must now divide its efforts. It tries to increase circulation to your legs and arms while still supporting your gastrointestinal system. This creates internal conflict, forcing your heart into overdrive when it's least prepared for stress. This kind of strain doesn't always feel dramatic. That's what makes it so dangerous. You might just feel slightly winded or sluggish, maybe a bit lightheaded. But what's really happening is a sudden spike in heart rate and blood pressure, along with a shift in fluid distribution. In older adults, especially those with hypertension, arrhythmia, or a history of heart disease, this can be a perfect storm. I remember one of my patients clearly. Her name was Helen, a 68-year-old retired school teacher with a calm demeanor and a history of borderline high blood pressure. She believed she was doing everything right. She ate healthy, stayed active, and every evening after dinner, she'd take a short 15-minute walk around her neighborhood, even in the winter. It helps me stay regular, she'd say with a smile. Then one day, she came into my clinic pale and anxious. Her heart had started racing during one of those evening walks, right after dinner. An EKG showed signs of atrial fibrillation, a condition where the heart beats irregularly and inefficiently. She had no prior cardiac diagnosis. What triggered it? The combination of post-meal blood flow diversion and exertion. That small, well-intentioned walk had pushed her heart past its limits. Her routine, meant to help her live longer, nearly destroyed her heart. The truth is, digestion is a demanding cardiovascular event on its own, especially in older adults. The autonomic nervous system slows down. The arteries are stiffer. Blood flow doesn't reroute as smoothly. Asking your heart to handle movement and digestion at the same time is like asking an 80-year-old to carry two full grocery bags up a flight of stairs. It can be done, but the risk is high. So, what should you do instead? Wait. Give your body time. The safest window for movement after a meal is around 45 to 60 minutes. More if the meal was large or high in fats and carbohydrates. Use that post meal time to rest, hydrate, or do light seated stretches. And when you do walk, begin slowly, listening carefully to your breath, your steps, your balance. And let me be clear, walking is good, even necessary for heart health. But timing matters. When you walk too soon after eating, your heart doesn't have enough support. You turn a healthy habit into a harmful one without even knowing it. Don't let a routine rooted in good intentions become the reason you end up in an emergency room. Helen recovered with treatment and a few lifestyle changes. She still walks every evening, but now it's an hour after dinner, and she walks more slowly with her neighbor beside her. It's not just about moving anymore, she told me. It's about moving at the right time for my heart, not just my habits. So before you reach for your jacket and head out after a warm meal, pause. Give your heart the rest it needs because digestion is already a workout. Don't double the load. And speaking of load, there's something else I need to show you next. A walking habit so common that many people don't even realize they're carrying a hidden risk on their shoulders, literally. And it's silently breaking down the body's balance, joint health, and yes, the heart itself. 3. Walking while carrying heavy bags or items. At a glance, it seems harmless. Walking while holding a shopping bag, a gallon of milk, or even a small pet's leash. These are part of daily life, and for many older adults, it feels like a simple way to stay productive and mobile. But what most seniors don't realize is that walking while carrying weight, even lightweight, can be quietly and consistently breaking down your heart, joint health, and internal balance in ways that are dangerously underestimated. You see, when we're young, our cardiovascular and musculoskeletal systems are flexible, resilient, and fast to adapt. But after 60, the game changes entirely. The body becomes less forgiving. Our joints are more fragile. Our posture is more sensitive to shifts. And most importantly, our heart can no longer handle divided attention the way it once did. Carrying heavy or even moderate items, whether it's groceries, packages, or your dog pulling on a leash, may seem small. But here's what happens inside your body when you do it. The muscles of your shoulders, arms, and back tense up. Your balance shifts, often without you realizing it. Your walking rhythm changes. Maybe your stride shortens, your hips tilt, your neck tightens. All of these postural compensations force your heart to work harder. Why? Because now your body is trying to move forward while simultaneously stabilizing itself against an unbalanced load. This is especially dangerous if you have high blood pressure, reduced lung capacity, or a history of cardiovascular disease. The heart begins to beat faster, blood vessels constrict, and oxygen delivery to your muscles becomes strained. What should be a gentle, beneficial walk becomes a physical stressor. Over time, this stress accumulates, and it doesn't make you stronger. It makes your heart weaker. One of my patients, Franklin, an 80-year-old widower who lives alone, used to walk to the grocery store twice a week. He'd carry home a single bag in each hand, nothing extreme. It's good for me, he insisted. Better than sitting around. He was proud of staying independent, but then he started noticing shortness of breath halfway through his walks. His balance felt off. One day, his vision blurred while crossing the street, and he had to sit on the curb. When he came into my office, I ran several tests. The results were clear. Franklin had developed left ventricular hypertrophy, an enlargement of the heart caused by years of silent strain. His heart had been trying to compensate for the extra effort of walking under load. The bags didn't look heavy, but the damage was. The stress from unbalanced walking, done routinely and without thought, was quietly destroying his heart. Franklin hadn't done anything wrong in the traditional sense. He wasn't inactive, he didn't smoke, but he, like so many older adults, didn't understand the hidden cardiovascular cost of asymmetrical movement. Carrying weight while walking may not feel intense, but for an aging body, it's not the weight that's dangerous. It's the constant instability, the unnatural posture, and the elevated heart demand it creates. So what can you do instead? First, honor your body's current state. If you must carry something, distribute the weight evenly in a backpack designed for senior support, one with chest and waist straps, or better yet, use a small wheeled cart to roll your items, reducing strain on the joints and heart. Never let pride push you into ignoring small signals. Shortness of breath, heart palpitations, or lightheadedness while walking with weight are red flags, not just aging. You don't need to prove your strength by carrying everything yourself. True strength is knowing how to protect the heart that has carried you for decades. Every pound in your hand could be adding pressure to the one organ you can't afford to burden. Franklin now uses a lightweight rolling cart and no longer experiences shortness of breath. I finally realized, he told me, that being independent doesn't mean doing everything the hard way. It means doing it the smart way. His heart is more stable. His energy is better. His confidence, unshaken. Please, don't wait for a scary moment on the sidewalk to make a change. Your heart is strong, but it is not indestructible. It is aging like the rest of you, and it needs you to walk in balance, not under strain. And yet, even when your hands are free, your body light, and your timing right, there is another hidden danger many seniors overlook. It's not about what you carry, but where you walk, because the very ground beneath your feet might be turning every walk into a risk your heart was never meant to take. If you're still watching and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 1 below to let me know you're here. Now let's keep going with point number 4. 4. Walking on uneven or unsafe surfaces. To many older adults, walking feels like second nature. You've been doing it your whole life, across sidewalks, driveways, grassy parks, gravel trails. So it may come as a surprise that the very surface you walk on can slowly and silently become one of the greatest threats to your heart, your balance, and your long-term independence. It's not the act of walking that's dangerous. It's walking on surfaces your body is no longer equipped to handle. As we age, changes in joint flexibility, muscle strength, vision, and inner ear function all chip away at our once stable stride. But the most fragile system of all, and often the least understood in this context, is your cardiovascular system. Uneven surfaces don't just challenge your legs. They place your heart under stress in ways most seniors have never been warned about. Let me explain. When you walk on a cracked sidewalk, a sloping lawn, a gravel path, or a poorly lit parking lot, your body is working overtime to stay upright. Your brain is trying to adjust your posture with each unpredictable step. Your leg muscles are tensing and compensating. And in the background, your heart is accelerating, trying to meet the demands of sudden shifts in muscle engagement and blood pressure regulation. These micro adjustments may not seem like a big deal, but for aging hearts, they are. The balance centers in your brain aren't as responsive as they were at 40. Your arteries may be stiffer, your heart rate recovery time is slower. So, what was once an ordinary stroll on uneven ground can now trigger a cascade of physiological stress, elevating your heart rate, tightening your vessels, and in some cases, sparking arrhythmias or spikes in blood pressure. I remember one patient vividly, Ms. Lopez, a 76-year-old widow who took pride in staying active, enjoyed walking her little dog every morning around her neighborhood. She lived in an older community where the sidewalks were slightly lifted by tree roots, uneven and unpredictable. One morning, she tripped, just slightly. She didn't fall, but her heart did something far worse. The sudden jolt, the reflexive twist to regain balance, caused a surge in blood pressure and an irregular heart rhythm that sent her into the emergency room that afternoon. She had developed paroxysmal atrial fibrillation, a type of rapid, irregular heartbeat that had gone unnoticed until that stressful moment. Ms. Lopez didn't realize it, but the very sidewalks she'd trusted for years were silently chipping away at her heart stability. It wasn't the walk itself, it was the environment, unpredictable, unsteady, unforgiving. That uneven ground was slowly, quietly working against her, and her aging heart could no longer absorb the burden. What you must understand is this: your heart is not just a pump, it's part of a finely tuned system that reacts to every wobble in your step. Each misstep, each unexpected slope forces the heart to respond, often too quickly and sometimes too late. For those already living with hypertension, artery stiffness, or hidden plaque buildup, walking on unsafe surfaces can be the final tipping point, the moment where a healthy routine becomes the very thing that destroys your heart. This doesn't mean you should stop walking outdoors, but it does mean you need to become radically aware of where you walk. Choose walking paths that are even, well lit, and familiar. Walk inside malls, senior centers, or community recreation buildings if your neighborhood sidewalks are inconsistent or cracked. Wear shoes with proper grip and avoid grassy slopes, rocky trails, or icy patches, even if they look manageable. Every step you take should support your heart, not challenge it without cause. There is no pride in pushing through a hazardous environment. There is only risk. And risk, for someone in their 60s, 70s, or 80s, doesn't always announce itself loudly. It whispers with a dizzy spell, a skipped heartbeat, a stumble that shakes your confidence. Ms. Lopez now walks daily at her local YMCA track, indoors, safe, and even. Her heart rate stays steady, and she hasn't had another episode since. I thought I was just walking my dog, she told me, but I was walking on a battlefield, and I didn't even know it. And here's the hard truth: many seniors are unknowingly walking that same battlefield every day. So please, before your next walk, ask yourself, is the ground beneath me helping my heart or setting it up for failure? And yet, even if you're walking on safe ground at a gentle pace and with no weight in your hands, there's another common mistake I see all the time, a mistake that doesn't involve your legs or the sidewalk at all, but the time of day you choose to walk. Because the hour you walk might just be sabotaging your sleep and your heart in ways you've never imagined. 5. Walking too late in the evening. It's quiet. The sun has set. Dinner is done. The house is calm. And for many older adults, this feels like the perfect time to take a walk. After all, what could be more peaceful than a cool evening stroll through your neighborhood? It seems like a wise habit. But what if I told you that this very routine, this innocent nighttime walk, might be silently sabotaging your sleep, your rhythm, and ultimately destroying your heart? You see, as we age, our bodies change, not just physically, but hormonally, neurologically, and metabolically. One of the most delicate systems we have is our circadian rhythm, the internal clock that regulates everything from sleep and digestion to heart rate and blood pressure. For younger people, that system is flexible, but for seniors, it becomes exquisitely sensitive to any disruption. And late evening exercise, especially walking, is one of the most overlooked disruptors. Walking may not feel intense, especially compared to weightlifting or aerobic workouts, but the truth is, even light physical exertion in the evening can activate your nervous system, raise your core body temperature, and stimulate adrenaline. That's the opposite of what your body needs as it prepares for rest. Your heart, in particular, needs to slow down, lower its output, and begin its nightly healing process. But when you walk too late, you confuse the system. You send your heart a message: stay alert, keep working. What should be a gentle closing to your day becomes a biological tug of war. Sleep becomes harder to fall into. When it does come, it's shallow, fragmented, and less restorative. And here's the heartbreaking part: poor sleep isn't just about feeling tired the next day, it's directly linked to elevated blood pressure, increased inflammation, insulin resistance, memory loss, and cardiac arrhythmias. Yes, walking at the wrong time can ripple into systems you never imagined, weakening your heart one restless night at a time. I'll never forget Mr. Graham, a 74-year-old retired librarian who came into my clinic complaining of insomnia, occasional heart palpitations, and low energy during the day. He prided himself on discipline. Every night after cleaning up dinner, he'd lace up his sneakers and take a 25-minute walk around the block. He believed he was helping himself sleep better. He had no idea this routine was quietly pushing his heart into stress mode right before bed. After monitoring him, I discovered that his heart rate was spiking at 8:30 p.m. during his walks and staying elevated well into the night. His sleep was shallow. His blood pressure wasn't dipping the way it should while he slept. His heart, instead of recovering, was working overtime. It was a slow unraveling, and one he couldn't feel until the symptoms became undeniable. This is how heart damage often happens: quietly, slowly, silently. Not with a dramatic heart attack or collapse, but with repeated subtle disruptions that erode your heart's resilience over months and years. For older adults, timing matters as much as movement. Walking is still one of the best things you can do for your health, but when you walk matters deeply. The ideal time: morning or early afternoon. This aligns with your natural energy cycles, supports healthy sleep at night, and allows your cardiovascular system to reset by bedtime. And if you must walk in the evening, make it short, gentle, and at least 2 hours before sleep. Walking should help your heart rest, not rob it of the chance to repair. Mr. Graham changed his routine. He now walks at 10 a.m., enjoys breakfast with his wife afterward, and reports sleeping better than he has in years. His palpitations have stopped. His energy has returned. It wasn't just the walk, he told me. It was when I walked. That was the missing piece. So if you're in the habit of walking after dark, hoping it helps you sleep, I urge you to reconsider. Your heart is waiting for stillness in the evening, not stimulation. Let it rest. Let your body wind down. Let sleep be the healing tool it was meant to be. But even if you're walking at the perfect time, at the perfect pace, there's one more mistake I see all too often, and it's one most people make without even knowing it. It's not about how fast you move or when you move, it's about what you're wearing on your feet. And the wrong choice could turn every step into a silent assault on your heart and your stability. 6. Walking in the wrong shoes. You wouldn't build a house on a cracked foundation, and yet every day, countless older adults are walking mile after mile on worn out soles, unsupportive sandals, or shoes that no longer fit their aging feet. It might seem trivial. After all, they're just shoes, right? But for seniors, the wrong footwear can be more than uncomfortable. It can quietly cause joint damage, balance issues, and even trigger cardiac stress that builds up silently. What's beneath your feet might be the very thing that ends up destroying your heart without you ever realizing it. As we age, our feet change. The fat pads on the soles thin out, arches begin to collapse, tendons stiffen, and nerves become less responsive. These subtle shifts affect everything: how we stand, how we walk, how pressure travels up our legs into our hips and spine, and most importantly, how hard our heart has to work to keep up with these changes. Poor shoes don't just hurt your feet, they shift your entire alignment. And with every misstep, your cardiovascular system must adapt, compensate, and over time, suffer. I recall a patient, Mrs. Elaine Carter, a 73-year-old former nurse with a warm smile and a passion for gardening. She came to my clinic complaining of lower back pain, occasional dizziness during walks, and persistent leg fatigue. At first glance, her cardiovascular metrics were borderline, not alarming, but not ideal. It wasn't until I asked about her walking routine that the real cause became clear. Elaine walked every morning around her cul-de-sac in a pair of 10-year-old canvas sneakers. No arch support, worn treads, zero shock absorption. They're comfortable, she said. I've had them forever. But those shoes, once reliable, were now sabotaging her every step. With no support, her ankles rolled inward, her knees misaligned, her posture leaned forward slightly, and her muscles tensed to compensate. What did that mean for her heart? A constant state of mild physical strain, a racing pulse during short walks, elevated blood pressure after minimal effort. When I showed her the connection, that her shoes were forcing her heart to overwork with every step, she was stunned. I never thought shoes could affect my heart, she whispered. But they can, and they do. Because when your gait is thrown off, even just slightly, your energy efficiency plummets. Your body burns more oxygen for the same distance. Your heart beats faster to deliver that oxygen. Your balance becomes less reliable, which increases anxiety and muscle tension, further elevating cardiovascular stress. And all of this is happening in silence. There's no warning light, no immediate chest pain, just a slow chipping away at your stability, your endurance, and yes, your heart strength. This is especially dangerous for seniors with peripheral artery disease, diabetic neuropathy, osteoarthritis, or even just mild balance issues. Bad shoes increase the risk of falls, which can lead to hospitalization, reduced mobility, and long-term cardiac deconditioning. They also disrupt the body's natural shock absorption, meaning your heart and lungs absorb more of the strain each time your heel hits the ground. The solution isn't complicated, but it must be intentional. Get properly fitted for walking shoes by someone who understands senior foot health. Look for shoes with firm heel counters, strong arch support, cushioned soles, and a wide toe box. Avoid flat-soled slip-ons, old running shoes, or sandals without structure. Replace your walking shoes every 6-12 months, even if they look fine. The wear and tear inside the sole often goes unseen, but deeply affects your posture. Mrs. Carter made the switch. She invested in orthopedic walking shoes and started using a foam roller to gently stretch her calves and feet before her walks. Within weeks, her lower back pain diminished, her walking felt lighter, and her heart rate much steadier. It's amazing, she told me. All that time, I thought I was just getting older, but it was my shoes that were aging me faster. So the next time you lace up for a walk, ask yourself, are these shoes helping your heart or quietly hurting it? because every step you take should be a step toward health, not harm. And sometimes the smallest change, something as simple as a new pair of shoes, can add years of comfort, stability, and peace to your life. But even the perfect shoes can't protect you if you're walking with the wrong posture. In fact, the way you hold your head, shoulders, and spine as you move might be silently sending dangerous signals to your cardiovascular system. And that's exactly what we'll uncover next. If you're still watching and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 1 below to let me know you're here. Now let's keep going with point number 7. 7. Walking with poor posture and body alignment. We often think of posture as something cosmetic, the way we stand in a photo, or how upright we look when someone walks into a room. But what many seniors don't realize is that posture, especially during walking, is not just about appearance. It's about survival. It's about protecting your heart, your lungs, your balance, and even your brain. And if you're walking with poor posture, shoulders hunched, head dropped, hips misaligned, you may be doing more than putting stress on your spine. You may be silently destroying your heart. Let me explain why. When your posture collapses, your chest cavity narrows. That means less room for your lungs to expand, less oxygen coming in with each breath. Your diaphragm, the muscle responsible for pulling air into your body, becomes compressed and weakened. The result, your heart must work harder to deliver oxygen to your brain and muscles. And when that happens day after day, walk after walk, you place your cardiovascular system in a constant state of mild distress. It may not feel dangerous. You might not even notice it. But over time, it adds up, and the consequences can be devastating. I saw this firsthand with Mr. Wallace, a 79-year-old retired engineer with a stooped back and a slow shuffle. He told me he walked nearly every morning, but recently he'd been feeling winded, even during short walks. "It's just age, right?" he asked, half joking. But I noticed something immediately. His chin pointed downward, his shoulders rolled forward, and his lower back arched awkwardly. His posture was collapsing inward, restricting his lungs and forcing his heart to work harder with every step. I ran a few tests, no blockages, no severe valve problems. But his heart rate was elevated for his age. His oxygen levels dipped slightly during walking. The root cause wasn't inside his heart. It was in the way he was carrying his body around his heart. His hunched frame was compressing his organs, tightening his chest, and draining his energy. His heart wasn't broken, it was overwhelmed. We worked together on posture correction, physical therapy, light stretching, mindful walking cues. Within a month, his breathing improved, his endurance returned, his heart rate normalized. "I didn't realize I was walking against myself," he told me, "not with myself." And that's the key. Posture isn't something optional. It's the framework your heart depends on to do its job safely. When that framework folds in on itself, your cardiovascular system is forced into a harder, faster rhythm. Over time, that strain can trigger high blood pressure, irregular heartbeats, and even poor blood circulation to the brain, increasing the risk of dizziness, falls, and cognitive decline. Walking with poor posture also affects your balance, which means more energy goes into preventing a fall than into fluid, natural movement. Your muscles stiffen, your joints ache, and in response, your heart pounds harder to meet your body's disorganized demands. What should be a gentle, restorative walk becomes a compensatory battle between breath, muscle, and circulation. If you walk with a cane, a walker, or even just some lower back stiffness, you're especially vulnerable to this problem. Every step counts, not just in how far you go, but in how you carry yourself along the way. Here's what you can do. When walking, lift your chest slightly. Let your arms swing naturally at your sides, Keep your chin parallel to the ground and imagine a string gently pulling the crown of your head upward. If you feel your shoulders rounding, pause, reset, and realign. You're not trying to look proud. You're trying to create space for your lungs and freedom for your heart. Use walking poles or posture correcting braces if needed. But above all, be mindful. Because how you carry your body tells your heart what to do. Collapse and your heart panics. Expand and your heart relaxes. Mr. Wallace now says his walks feel like breathing in fresh air, not just outside, but inside. He's moving better, feeling better, living better. All because he learned to walk in support of his body, not in tension with it. So the next time you step outside, ask yourself, are you walking tall enough to let your heart breathe? But posture isn't the only silent saboteur. There's something else I see all the time, something even more common yet even more dangerous. And it doesn't involve how you move, but how you breathe while you move. If you're holding your breath while walking or breathing the wrong way, you may be placing your heart under hidden stress that no step counter can detect. 8. Walking while holding your breath or breathing improperly. To many seniors, walking feels like second nature. You've done it your whole life, and it doesn't seem like something that requires much thought. But here's the truth. How you breathe when you walk can either support your heart or slowly weaken it. And if you're holding your breath, breathing shallowly, or simply not aware of your breathing rhythm, you might be unknowingly placing dangerous stress on your cardiovascular system with every step you take. As we age, our lungs lose elasticity. The diaphragm weakens. Our breathing becomes more shallow, often without us noticing. Add to that the stress, stiffness, or fatigue many seniors feel during physical activity. And what happens? We start to unconsciously hold our breath, especially during inclines, turns, or moments of imbalance. It might only be for a few seconds at a time, but those seconds add up, and the cost to the heart can be devastating. Why is breath so critical? Because every time you inhale deeply, you're delivering fresh oxygen to your bloodstream. That oxygen fuels your muscles, nourishes your brain, and lightens the workload on your heart. But when you hold your breath or breathe too shallowly, your heart doesn't stop needing oxygen. It just works harder to get what little is available. That effort increases your heart rate, spikes your blood pressure, and over time leads to wear and tear that your heart was never designed to handle in your 60s, 70s, or 80s. I'll never forget Marjorie, a 75-year-old retired piano teacher who came to my clinic complaining of chest tightness and fatigue halfway through her walks. Her vitals were concerning, but not alarming. No blocked arteries, no fluid in her lungs. But when I observed her walk on a treadmill, I saw it almost immediately. Her shoulders tensed, her lips pursed. She was holding her breath every time she stepped up slightly or turned her head. She had no idea she was doing it. I guess I just braced myself, she said. I thought that was normal. But it wasn't normal. It was destroying her heart, one walk at a time. Without a steady flow of oxygen, her heart was being forced to beat harder, faster, and less efficiently. It wasn't cardiac disease that was draining her. It was poor breathing mechanics during what should have been a heart-healthy routine. We worked together on mindful breathing, slow inhales through the nose, steady exhales through the mouth, syncing breath with steps. Within weeks, her stamina improved, her blood pressure stabilized. Most importantly, her confidence returned. I used to think my heart was the problem, she said, but it was my breath, or lack of it. Many older adults develop a subtle fear of movement. They tighten up during walking, anticipating a misstep or a hill, and in that moment of bracing, they hold their breath. That breath holding creates internal pressure in the lungs, the chest, and especially the heart. This can lead to a sudden spike in blood pressure, oxygen starvation, and even dizziness or fainting, especially in those already dealing with hypertension or heart arrhythmias. Breath holding is also linked to something called the Valsalva maneuver, an unintentional strain that increases pressure inside the chest. This can disrupt the heart's rhythm, reduce oxygen to the brain, and for some seniors, it may even trigger a dangerous episode of syncope, fainting. So, yes, something as simple as not breathing properly can put your life at risk. The key isn't just to breathe, but to breathe intentionally. While walking, aim to inhale through your nose for 2-3 steps and exhale through your mouth for 2-3 steps. This natural rhythm trains your heart to stay steady, supports your oxygen levels, and gives your nervous system a calming signal. It's not just physical, it's emotional. Breath brings peace, it brings clarity, and most importantly, it brings protection to the heart that's carried you this far. Marjorie now walks every morning with her grandson. They practice breath steps together, laughing as they count aloud. My body's calmer, she says. But more than that, I feel connected to myself again. I'm walking with breath, not against it. So ask yourself, are you walking with breath or bracing in fear? Because even the best walking routine with perfect shoes and posture can become a threat if you leave your breath behind. And yet, there's one final mistake I've seen too many seniors make. A mistake that isn't about how you walk or when you walk, but what happens when you stop walking altogether. The final habit we need to talk about isn't physical, it's psychological. And it may be the most dangerous one of all. 9. Stopping walking altogether. The slow decline you don't feel until it's too late. If there's one mistake I've seen more than any other in my decades of working with seniors, it's this: stopping walking altogether. Not because of a major illness, not because of an injury, but because of a quiet decision made gradually, silently, to stop moving. A little less walking each week, a few more afternoons sitting. I'm just tired today becomes maybe tomorrow, and then eventually, not at all. And what's most tragic, you don't feel the damage right away. In fact, it feels deceptively safe, comfortable, familiar. But inside your body, something far more dangerous is happening. Because the truth is, when you stop walking, your heart begins to decline, slowly, silently, and often irreversibly. The heart is a muscle, and like any muscle, it needs movement to stay strong. The simple act of walking helps your blood vessels stay flexible, your blood pressure remains steady, and your circulation flow smoothly. It keeps your lungs expanded, your joints lubricated, your muscles engaged. But when you stop, even for just a few weeks, the opposite begins. Muscles shrink, circulation slows, blood pressure rises, and your heart begins to lose its rhythm. Worse yet, the emotional toll of inactivity feeds the physical one. You may begin to feel a little more fatigued, a bit more stiff, slightly more anxious. So you walk even less. And in that spiral, your heart is quietly suffering. I think often of Mr. Leonard, an 82-year-old former postal worker I treated a few years ago. For most of his life, he walked miles every day delivering mail. Even after retirement, he kept it up. But then came a rough winter. He caught a cold, slowed down, stayed indoors. Just until the weather clears, he said. Weeks turned into months, and by the time spring arrived, he was struggling to walk to the mailbox without feeling winded. When he came into my office, his blood pressure had spiked, his resting heart rate was irregular, and he'd gained over 15 pounds. I didn't think stopping for a little while would matter, he said, voice trembling. I thought I'd pick it back up like always. But his body had changed, his heart had changed. What was once a strong, steady rhythm was now labored and inefficient. And while we worked hard to help him rebuild his stamina, it never returned to what it was. Because that's what happens when movement stops. The heart begins to forget how to work efficiently. The cardiovascular system becomes fragile. Your balance weakens. Your muscles become unresponsive. And every step becomes harder than the last. It's a slow decline. And for many seniors, by the time they feel it, it's already too late. Let me be clear. Rest is important. Healing has its place. But there's a difference between recovery and retreat. If you stop walking because of fear, discomfort, or fatigue and never return to it, you're not protecting yourself. You're accelerating decline. Walking doesn't need to be far. It doesn't need to be fast. It just needs to be consistent. Even 10 minutes a day around your living room, down the hall, or around the block is enough to signal to your heart, I'm still here. Keep beating strong. That signal is everything. Because walking isn't just about exercise, it's about life. It's about independence. It's about circulation, cognition, digestion, and emotion. It is the most powerful medicine you have, and it doesn't come in a pill bottle. It comes from putting one foot in front of the other, even on the hard days. Mr. Leonard eventually got back to walking 15 minutes a day. He used a cane, and he had to rest more than he used to, but he kept going. I'm not walking like I used to, he told me, but I'm walking, and my heart knows it. So if you've stopped for a week, a month, or longer, this is your sign to begin again. Gently, slowly, safely, but begin. Because the scariest damage to the heart doesn't come from overexertion. It comes from neglect, from silence, from stillness, from not giving your heart the signal it needs to keep living fully. And now that you've learned these 9 dangerous walking habits, the real question is, how do you put all of this together to walk smarter, not harder, and protect your heart for the years ahead? In the final summary, I'll show you exactly how to turn these lessons into a simple daily walking ritual that supports your body, mind, and heart every single step of the way. Walk with wisdom, a new path for your heart after 60. By now, you've heard the truth that not all walking is heart healthy, that certain habits done with the best of intentions may quietly be causing harm. Maybe you recognized yourself in one or more of these 9 walking mistakes. Maybe, like so many seniors I've met, you're thinking, I had no idea this could hurt me. And that's the point. You weren't told. No one warned you that walking too fast, too late, with poor shoes, poor posture, or no breath, or not walking at all, could slowly be destroying your heart. But now you know. And knowledge is power. Not to scare you, but to protect you. Because the goal isn't to stop walking. The goal is to start walking smarter. Walking should be your heart's best friend, not its quiet enemy. When done correctly, it lowers blood pressure, improves circulation, stabilizes your mood, and boosts your longevity. But your walk must match your season of life. You're no longer 40. And that's not a weakness, it's wisdom. You've lived long enough to know that doing things the right way matters more than doing them the hard way. So let's put it all together. Walk at a gentle pace. Let your breath lead your steps. Walk during the day, never on a full stomach or late at night. Choose flat, safe surfaces. Wear supportive shoes. Keep your head high, your posture proud, and your body balanced. And above all, never stop moving. Even 10 minutes of mindful walking per day can transform your heart, your mind, and your outlook. This is not about distance, it's about intention. Consistency is your greatest strength now, not speed. If you've made it this far, that tells me something. You care. You want to protect your health. You want more mornings, more memories, more life, and your heart, that tireless organ that has served you faithfully, it wants that too. So, starting today, let every step be a step toward healing, a step toward protection, a step that says, I choose to care for my heart because it's still beating for me. This isn't the end of your journey, it's the beginning of a new one, a wiser one. Now go walk, not fast, not far, but with purpose. Because every step you take wisely now adds time, strength, and peace to the steps ahead. These lessons are meant to inspire you to live fully and authentically. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Take a moment to reflect and share one thing you've learned and plan to apply in your own life. Let's support each other on this journey toward embracing these truths. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment with 1. If not, feel free to comment with 0. Your feedback means a lot to us. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content like this. Thank you for watching, and here's to living life on your own terms.